everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm your boy, Ewaenruwa Nomaren, and in this video, we are going to be breaking down what Jesus Christ said in Matthew chapter 20, verse 28, which reads, "Even as the Son of Man came not to be ministered unto, but to minister, and to give his life a ransom for many." This is a very powerful text, and in this video, we are going to see why. Jesus Christ was essentially saying that he didn't come down to be served, to be glorified, to be honored. No, he came for a specific purpose, and that was to pay the ransom. That was why when people wanted to make him a king, in John chapter 6 verse 15, he refused. And when he was before Pontius Pilate, he told them, "My kingdom is not of this world. If my kingdom were of this world, then would my servants fight, that I should not be delivered to the Jews. But now is my kingdom not from hence." If you look at his ministry, you can see that it was all about trying to uplift people, try to teach them about God. If you read Luke chapter 4, verses 18 to 19, quoting Isaiah the prophet, he explained that he came to preach deliverance to the captives and to recover the sight of those that were blind, to set at liberty them that are bruised, and to preach the acceptable year of the Lord. So there was nothing really in it for him. It was all about trying to help other people come to their Heavenly Father. However, the focus of this is really going to be about that idea of Christ needing to come as a ransom for many. Why was a ransom needed in the first place? And how did Christ's death fulfill any of that? Well, if you look at what happened in Genesis chapter 3, verses 1 to 6, you can see that Adam and Eve sinned against God. When God created them, he created them to be perfect, according to Genesis chapter 1, verse 31, and Ecclesiastes chapter 7, verse 29. That God made them perfect, but then they sought out many inventions. So by them sinning against God, they lost that perfect life because God pronounced death sentence upon them in Genesis chapter 3, verses 16 and 19, and all of their descendants had to suffer that as well. In other words, all of humanity became tainted with sin. That's why David stated, "Behold, I was shapen in iniquity, and in sin did my mother conceive me," in Psalm chapter 51, verse 5. However, God didn't want us to remain in this wretched condition forever, that we grow old and die and all that. No. So he found a ransom, which we know as Jesus Christ. If you read Job chapter 33, verses 21 to 24, you can see this. "His flesh is consumed away, that it cannot be seen, and his bones that were not seen stick out. Yea, his soul draweth near unto the grave, and his life to the destroyers. If there be a messenger with him, an interpreter, one among 1,000, to shew unto man his uprightness, then he is gracious unto him, and saith, Deliver him from going into the pit. I have found a ransom." This kind of condition where we had to die was not something we could deliver ourselves from. There's no amount of money we'll earn or amount of glory we'll get that will save us from that. The psalmist stated, "They that trust in their wealth and boast themselves in the multitude of their riches, none of them can by any means redeem his brother, nor give to God a ransom for him." In the Garden of Eden, a perfect life was lost, and a perfect life needed to be given to atone for that, because spiritual laws state that life must go for life, tooth must go for tooth, foot must go for foot, etc. If you read Exodus chapter 21, verses 22 to 25, and Deuteronomy chapter 19, verse 21. Therefore, Christ, who was a perfect soul, according to 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 22, was qualified to atone for that original sin, just as how in the Day of Atonement, goats would be given to atone for the sins of Israel. If you read Leviticus chapter 16, verses 1 to 34, Christ was sacrificed to take away the sins of the world, according to John chapter 1, verse 29. And that was why we can see that Christ actually had to die. And by Christ dying, he atoned for that sin. So by believing in him, then we can be saved, according to John chapter 3, verse 16. "For God so loved the world, that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life." It is very important we understand how Christ was sacrificed, and because of that sacrifice, that sin that we have to suffer from was now atoned for. Isaiah the prophet also stated, Yet it pleased the Lord to bruise him. He hath put him to grief. When thou shalt make his soul an offering for sin, he shall see his seed, he shall prolong his days, and the pleasure of the Lord shall prosper in his hand. So by understanding this important concept in the Bible, we won't be confused as to why Christ needed to be a ransom. It was to atone for that original sin so that in the world to come, our iniquities can be forgiven, according to Isaiah chapter 33, verse 24. And that is where I'm going to stop. I'm breaking down what Jesus Christ said in Matthew chapter 20, verse 28, which once again reads, Even as the Son of Man came not to be ministered unto, but to minister, and to give his life a ransom for many. If you have enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you will be notified when we come out with our next video. Have a great day, and God bless you.